What is up, everyone? I'm Jeff Lone, and this is the Mediocre Alaskan Podcast, talking with Rudy Pankow, class of 2016, graduate from Ketchikan High School. He plays JJ, the best friend of the protagonist in Netflix's teen drama Outer Banks, which came out 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Yeah, it came out midnight of the 15th.
15th.
Okay, 2 days ago. Yeah.
Thanks for taking some time to talk with your old teacher here.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
The Zoom stash, man.
If we have any visual recordings going on, I would appreciate photoshopping it out because it's in a work in progress right now.
Well, that's the confidence. You have to have confidence.
Yeah,
having the self-esteem to be able to, I'm going to rock this stash, and that's fine. I'm not going to worry about it.
No, I'm not going to worry about it. And life's all about experiences and trying new things out. And when you're still trying to when your family doesn't come from a line of very good facial hair, I thought I want to be a little different, So here I go.
There you go. So we'll get right with the stash thing and with the confidence thing. Congratulations on this. I know this isn't the first thing that you've been in, but this is kind of your first big sort of project. Is that the first big role? So congratulations on that. How has it been? Because I know it can't all just be good, but how is some of the journey to this culmination?
So the journey has been amazing. I'd say the journey has been my favorite part of it. And the celebration part, the aspect of like creating something has been the journey. Like I'd say I've been just on cloud 9 for the past year. And it's been amazing seeing the transformation of now seeing the transformation, because that was being hyped up for a year, which felt like this, that's what I mean by the journey's been the celebration, because it's like, while you're making it, everyone's like, this is what's going to happen. And you just have to go in one ear and go out the other, because, when you're on set, there's a lot going on and you got to focus on your job. And, there will be a lot of people coming up to you and putting expectations in your head. And so the journey of it has been a wild ride with a bunch of people, just letting you know of this is what the future holds if you do your job correctly, which is kind of, I don't know. It's been also a part of a learning experience for me. That's definitely true.
There has to be, right now everyone's like, Rudy, this is great, this is awesome. There had to have been moments in the last 3-4 years where it just felt like it wasn't going to happen, or it was stressful, and you didn't have the confidence. How is there anything stick out in your mind, maybe when you first moved down there, or when you weren't getting roles, or how did you stay with it?
Absolutely. I think every person that does this industry, or that goes into this industry, has to have a little bit of doubt. If you go in just hyper focused, you're Superman. Goodness gracious. I think when I first got here, I kind of almost had a mental breakdown of just what did I do? Because I had something figured out about college and going to a culinary school, believe it or not, on a soccer scholarship for 2 years. And that probably would have worked out okay. But so I think there was definitely a little bit of doubt and holy crap, what did I just do? What was exactly the question? Forgot.
So you get down there, and I remember you and I had a conversation at the top of the stairs in K-High, and as typical seniors, just asking for advice, and it's hard to give kids advice because we don't know what's best for you, and ultimately, people just tell me what's going to work out, and I'll choose whatever that is. Right. But you don't know it's going to work out, so you make this decision, and you go down there and. Tell me about a couple of those moments where you thought, gosh dang it, is this going to work out? Did you come home from not getting work or not being selected for something, or you're getting no traction? Is there something that sticks out in your head early on where you thought, maybe I made the wrong decision?
Yeah. So, I'd say the strongest time I felt that was when I just got there, because I was like a chicken with my head cut off. I was going to several acting studios, making sure that I did the right thing, trying to find the right studio. And I found it. And I found the studio I fell in love with, and just was like, okay, I really clicked with it. And it was an improv studio, where I just taught a bunch of one-liners and like improv-based scene studies. But I got my first job, and my first job was as a background dancer, I think, for a like Disney, like I forget her name. I can't even remember her name. A Disney star who sang some song called, like, I want to just, throw it hypothetically out, P.S. I Love You or something like that. And I was in the background. And man, when I walked off that set, I was like, no. Like, I was like,
you were like somewhat excited though? Like, wasn't that like, hey man, this is the first of many? Or were you like, oh.
It was the first of many that I hope will never be that one again, or something similar to that again. And I was kind of worried that I was like, okay, maybe this isn't exactly what I imagined. But then once I kind of, that was still in a panic mode, and I was still looking for friends, still looking for people to like surround myself with to motivate me. And I found a really good friend, and he's actually my roommate to this day. His name's Kyle, and he pointed me in the right direction and was like, just don't do this, don't do that, and you can be fine. And at the moment, he was on a series called The Path that starred Aaron Paul. And so he was like my blueprint and he was kind of like my compass of like, just keep doing this, keep doing your scene study, keep doing your improv training. And then once you're ready, I'm going to take you to a very prestigious acting coach. And he did. And then literally after he did that, the next spring, so I did, Larry Moss is his name, the acting coach, literally that fall. And then next spring, I booked Outer Banks.
Huh. Is it difficult to tell, or is it easy to tell someone who you can trust versus someone who's just trying to manipulate you? Like, can you sense like, oh, this guy's kind of greasy. Like, this person is just salesmanship. This is no good. Or people really good at being fake and then just kind of using people. How is it different between the two?
That's, to be completely honest with you, Mr. Lund, like, there's a lot of people that are pretty obvious with the skeeviness, and then there's also people that are really good at hiding it. And I honestly have to say I was just lucky enough to meet somebody who really saw the talent that I had early on, which was Kyle. And he was like, all right, I can see you're hungry and I can see that you want this, like, and you love it. And I think because he had just done that like 2 years before I did, he saw that, like, he really saw kind of, I think, a bit of himself in me. And I was just lucky enough to have him as a mentor, because a lot of people don't get that. And I have to like dedicate some of my success to Kyle, because he really did help me through and tell me pretty much like what you have to do to be successful in this industry.
After years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will tell you a lot of bullshit that you have to do to be successful. Actually, when I first got out here, there was a bunch of that. There was a bunch of, and I felt it though. You're right. Like there, you can kind of sense like if you have some sort of confidence in yourself or some sort of like morality, you can kind of feel when somebody's like putting value into social media, for example, or putting value into very like unfulfilling motivations. Like it's you can kind of sense it, but not a lot of people have that gift, I guess, and I have to be thankful for that.
Yeah. One of the things that kids always ask about is what's going to make them successful, and one of the things that I always you can pick out certain kids that, oh, you got some stuff figured out. And one of the reasons why I wasn't worried about you is because A, you worked hard, and two, or B, was that you had a good attitude, right? You laughed at all my jokes, which was great, and I knew that you're going to be successful because of that. But you didn't have a 4.0 in high school, but you still worked hard.
Yeah, I was not.
That was kind of thing. Some kids get so worried that, well, I don't have a 4.0 or my test scores aren't that good. Well, you're going to be fine because you work hard. There are kids who get 4.0s, but they don't work hard, and it's just this like facade.
Yeah, I think honestly that was a part of my decision making. Was there's like I work hard, but I'm just dumb. So like I got to find a different like field to use my skill in, and so I think that was part of it. Was like I need to find something that I love to do because I think I can work my ass off if I find that. And I'm happy I made the jump.
Yeah. Well, that positive attitude has got to be something too. I know a lot of people get negative when things aren't going right. So how did you keep yourself motivated when you have the positive attitude, you know you're working hard, but it's taken some while to get traction? How did you motivate yourself? Was it podcasts? Was it reading? Was it, looking at yourself in the mirror? What was it that kept you going?
It was a combination of class. It was a combination of hope of a better, like, higher class. Something else I did was like I purposely put myself in the crappiest of situations on purpose, actually. So I knew I could get a job as like a server somewhere. I knew I could get a job probably, being like a mailman delivery. I don't know, some random job that kind of takes like just half-assing it. I went to the Cheesecake Factory here in LA and I applied for a dishwashing job.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, you want to do dishwashing? And then they're like, well, we only have, you'll be working every day from around 5 p.m. to about 2 a.m. And I'm like, oh, like I'll be doing the night shift. And they'll be like, yeah, like that's the spot that we need right now. I was just like, all right, let's do it. And I think that was a very weird time for me because it was like, I almost like completely slashed my ego down and was just like, because I had an ego. I'm not going to be one of those kids that are going to be like, oh, I didn't have an ego when I came out to LA. I definitely did. I absolutely did. And I think I was just like, yo, you got to start from square one. And like I did that. And I really have to dedicate my success, I think, to that decision because what I did was like, for about, I think, a month and a half, they didn't promote me up. And I'm happy they promoted me because I asked for that job. But like, man, by the end of it, there were several nights just at like 1:30 in the morning scrubbing the dish. And then you're like that's some doubts definitely came through then.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, they haven't experienced something like that. So they don't know. They're holding out for something that they feel like they deserve. And so in the meantime, they just sit around and wait rather than get involved and say, this is why, this is what's going to motivate me because I don't want dishwashing to be what I end up doing. So I'm going to work from this, move up, and that's going to motivate me. Whereas there's some people just think the world owes them and the world's just going to come and they're going to collect them and make things better just because they want it. So what were you thinking about when you're washing dishes?
I was actually thinking about class. So actually the first time I went to Larry Moss's class was Larry Moss again is, God, I keep bringing this guy up. Just Google him. But I did his class, then took a month to do a project, and then I got the dishwashing job. And all that time, literally for a month and a half, I was going to auditions during the day and then going to Cheesecake Factory and thinking about the audition and thinking about what did Larry teach me that I did in that audition today. And there was definitely, I got very close with several projects. And I'm so happy I didn't book them because, man, like Outer Banks definitely was the one that was supposed to happen. But like Trinkets came up. There was what was the DC Titans show came up, and I got pretty far and pretty close to booking one of those jobs when I just had started Larry Moss's, and I was like, this is working. So when I felt like it was working and I felt like I was making progress in the craft, that's what I was thinking about when I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, was like, this is only temporary, and you just got to get a paycheck, survive, and then keep doing this and just repeat. Mind you, I was living in Koreatown when this was happening, or there was a time where I was doing like Cheesecake Factory Hollywood, but then I moved to Koreatown, which is about 5 miles away, and I didn't have a car. So I would be going to work at 5 p.m., biking there, and then around 3 a.m. I would be biking back. And I would just be like doing that for about, I think it was like 3 months.
Nice. Well, one of my buddies from California, he was in Blue Man Group, and he went back to, that was something that he loved to do. He was a percussionist, and he had those like Blue Man Group eyes. Yeah. And he tried out for Blue Man Group and didn't get it. And he was telling me that one of his friends was like, yeah, maybe you should give up. And I started laughing. I was like, wait, what? This is like your dream. This is what you want to do. And your friend's like, yeah, maybe you should give up. And then he tried out. I was like, dude, do it again. Might as well. The worst they can do is say no. So he tries out again and he makes it. Now he's been on, he's been in Vegas. He's been in New York. He's traveled around. I think he's in Miami or something like that now. But yeah. Were there people who were like, yeah, it's not going to work out? Were there people who along the way who said, hey, you might as well just give up?
You know what?
Their names or anything, but how do you?
No. I don't think there was a single person that said, Rudy, give up. I don't think there was a single person that said that. There was definitely people, and like, who can blame them? Because like, I doubted myself at times too. But like, you can get the sense of like, when you say what you're doing, and the years leading up to Outer Banks, I didn't really have a whole lot. Like you said, this is definitely my first project that really kind of, I guess, has the validation of, all right, he's doing it. But going back home for Christmas, for Thanksgiving, and you're like, where are you at? Are you still in Los Angeles? And you're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. And you're like, and my thing is that like, there were definitely people that doubted me, but I doubted myself. So it's like, they just wanted what's best for you. That's what I tell myself in the head. And like, you can't judge them for that, because it's such a crazy world. It's a really crazy world for people to want to do that. So yeah.
Who did you count on, and who did you rely on? You said your buddy Kyle down there and the people you're involved with the class, but what about other people who were like, hey man, stuff's not great? Who did you kind of vent to or fall to for that? Some people take these journeys in a very isolated sort of way where they don't really talk to anybody, and it's just kind of with themselves. But were there people along the way that you said, hey, I got to just talk this out and get your fired up?
Yeah, you're right. Like, to be honest, like, I was kind of self-motivating myself for a long time there. Going through a breakup really hurt a lot, and I was kind of lost a lot of confidence in myself, because she was kind of like a keep going, but then all of a sudden it switched to like, you should probably care about something else in life. And I think that's actually something that I still kind of am trying to figure out to this day, is like, how much do I care about other things? Because I was so motivated and so focused on getting to where I wanted to go in this industry, that like, I kind of just went into my head and really didn't want to talk to or waste any time, which is kind of screwed up, with anybody that wouldn't benefit things, which was really, and I like have talked to many people about this. But there are definitely people, I can't say I can take like the credit myself at all, because there are so many people. I mean, my parents for one, like at first they were very skeptical of me going to LA, but then when they saw how much I loved it and how much I was invested into it, they became kind of like a good rock for me, because they saw that I really was passionate about it. So I have to, you know, my parents were definitely up on that list of people I would go and talk to. Kyle, like I said, I'd always be like, hey, this is happening. Any advice? And he would always give me advice. And then like, look, like something else I want to say to you in particular, and whoever listens to this, there was a sense of like, oh, I got to do my part and not be an example of somebody who gives up from Ketchikan, Alaska, or who gives up from such a small town. Like it feels really good to, I think my favorite part about this kind of validation now, that people are like, oh, Rudy's an example of he actually did do it and he didn't give up. And I even thought about that while I was failing, when I was failing one after another, and on audition after audition where I didn't get it. I was like, it's okay. Like, are you just going to be like cry about it and then all of a sudden give up and now you're just this failure from Ketchikan, Alaska? Like, that played in my head for sure. That definitely was a part of it. So like there are definitely a lot of people out there, and they know who they are, who really, really helped, for sure. Yeah.
So you got, I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs, and some of my buddies are entrepreneurs, and when they talk about how they made it, they talk about the same thing where there's like no plan B. It's such a weird thing that you have to go full tilt, no plan B, no plan B. But at the same time, that idea of, well, with no plan B, that means that there's no safety net, which might be the reason why you make it. But also at the same time, like, when should you give up? It's just such a difficult question to answer. But I think dealing with that self-doubt is important. So now this is great. How long are you like celebrating this? Because it's now here, but also you got to redo it again. So what's the mind frame going forward? Because this isn't, you haven't signed a 7-movie Star Wars contract or anything like that. Like what's the mentality now that you've got this first big thing? Where do we go from here?
So I was talking to somebody the other day. His name's Jeremy Pope, and he's basically, this man does not stop working. He literally has one thing, goes to the next, goes to Broadway, comes back. All of a sudden, he's like nominated for Grammy. He has a song out, and it's like this man works not like off, like on the clock all the time. And he just told me, Rudy, the world's at a standstill right now. The world's at a standstill. What are you gonna do? And I was just like, well, what can I do? And he's like, exactly. What you can do is take this time to like really reflect on the success, but then forget about it. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can just forget about what happened. So there really is like not a whole lot of celebration right now. There's a lot, because that's what I said, like the celebration has been going for a year. What's going on right now is talk about season 2. There's talk about, when COVID-19 is history, which who knows when that's going to be. This is what you can be prepared for. So there's a bunch of like preparation. There's talk already for like, if OBX doesn't go through again for a second season, there's this option. So basically it's all preparation for the opportunity when it comes after COVID-19, because like, what can you do right now when the world's just completely dead right now?
Yeah. Is it pretty weird down there? Ketchikan, it's a lifestyle pretty conducive almost to quarantine, because people don't really, we congregate in small areas, but you can go back to your place, you can go hiking, things like that. It's not a big deal. I'd imagine in a urban setting, things are a lot different. So how are things in LA?
They like you said, it's kind of hard to go on a hike when there's only, pavement, but you can go on walks. You can go around the block, which gets old pretty fast. And it is hard. I'd say it's really hard for a lot of people right now, though, and that's kind of how I get through it. Is that it's like, look, you can complain about it. You can say like, wow, this is pretty shitty, and it is shitty, but like everyone's going through it. So if everyone can get through this time, it's like you can, and definitely you have it much better off than a lot of people. And man, like going to the grocery store when you have to wait in line to go into the grocery store, like that's pretty crazy. The other day, I caught myself getting worried to see how many people were out on the street. I was like walking, and then I was like, holy crap, there's a lot of people on the street right now. And like, because nobody can do anything, because it's like all the stores are closed. So what people do, they walk, and like you're just like walking down the street, and there's like a bunch of other people walking with you, and it's like, where are we going? And you're kind of nervous, like you're like, wait, should I not be out right now? And the answer probably is yeah, but like that's I caught myself feeling that way, which is weird. It's a weird feeling, and I sure hope 2021, when the vaccination is out, where it's like, all right, you can now look at people similarly, like you can shake their hand and be like, nice to meet you, and not feel weird about it. Because man, there's been several people that have wanted to introduce themselves to me because of the shows coming out, and you can't shake their hand. You're like, you do that thing or something. It's very, very weird.
Yeah, it's really difficult for us to just comprehend what's going on here, because we don't have any frame of reference really, and then we don't have answers. Everyone wants answers, but there's really no answers to be given. Should you be inside? Should you wear a mask? What kind of mask? What can you do? What shouldn't you do? Well, this country's opening up. Should we open up? Well, that's different. Why is this state not shut down? It's just all we have to do is just be inside, and then scrolling through social media or reading the news. Like that can be really wearing on people. Or how much are you exposing yourself to the COVID stuff, and how much are you just trying to work on your own thing and not stress your brain out too much with news about the virus?
So yeah, you're right. There for the first month, now it's like, because it's been out for about like a month and a half in Los Angeles. I was really stressing, like I started feeling like symptoms, but it's all anxiety in your head, and you're like, whoa, you gotta take a breather. So what I did was I just turned off my notifications from CNN, because CNN was just pumping out all that fear-mongering facts, which is, it's still facts, it's still statistics, but the way I've been coping with it is I've been thinking like, hey, this too will pass. Like you're feeling pretty crappy right now, that too will pass. What you should be doing is like taking the time to surround yourself with, not physically, because quarantine, but like surrounding yourself with people that you like FaceTime and talking, texting to them, that make you laugh and make you feel motivated and excited about when this does pass, because it will pass. And getting excited to like go live a life. That's something I want to say about the show. Just to give a little praise to the show, I'd say the show, what it does, it makes you want to go outside. It doesn't make you want to be on your phone. It doesn't make you want to, like, to be honest, like, talk to people. It kind of makes you want to just go live a life of a story. And I think that's something that has been getting me through this time, is that it's like, I'm excited about the life that I get to live and go experience after COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And then again, there's the whole entire fear thought of like, when is that going to be? Or even if I get it, is that possible? Like all those crazy thoughts that come in your head, you got to like write about it, draw about it, envision what you want to have happen after it. That's what I'd say.
Well, that was a pretty good send-off. Do you have anything else to add here, or anything else to plug the show, or anything else to close this thing up?
Plug the show. Outer Banks is out on Netflix. It's a fun, just YA, which is young adult series. you want to watch it, you can. What else are you going to do right now? But also, like, hey, I just want to say thank you to you, Mr. Lund, for always, being a sweet and chill dude, making me laugh in high school. And then also to everybody that is in his class and everybody that's in high school in K-High that's not going back to school this year. Stay motivated and be prepared to, like, have a good time in 2021 because 2020, I'm not kidding, 2020 is going to be fun, guys. You guys have a good one.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.